What's up, people? In this video, we're going to be doing Stan Efferding, Rhino Rants, What's the Best Diet? I think this, because I just did a video of his, but he talks about, he has a book called The Vertical Diet, so I think, I don't really know, I think he's going to say this is the vertical diet, or the vertical diet is the best diet. I'm not really sure. I just found this guy. So yeah, I'm not really sure, but he does seem to know his stuff. Like, a lot of these, he seems like an old school bodybuilder, or I think he is an old school bodybuilder. But basically, a lot of these old school bodybuilders, they really know their stuff, you know. And the stuff that they know comes mainly from experience, their own experience, and from sharing experience with other bodybuilders. Not necessarily like they did a study in some lab. They will use that as a starting point sometimes, but you know, experience doesn't lie. Anyway, what's the best diet? I don't know.
Hey everybody, Stan Efferding here, founder of The Vertical Diet and co-founder of The Vertical Meal Prep. It's time for another 10 Talk while I take my 10-minute walk. Thanks for keeping me company. Now, people always ask me, what's the best diet? The answer is actually quite simple, but you'd never know it from listening to the endless barrage of diet information on TV, radio, social media, or from anyone you may have asked. Scientists, scholars, diet coaches, and companies are all arguing amongst themselves as to which diet is the best equipped to win the war on obesity. And it's for good reason. Obesity rates have skyrocketed over the last 50 years, and premature deaths from obesity-related diseases, such as heart disease and diabetes, have reached epidemic proportions. Now, unfortunately, as I said before, in the war on obesity, you're at war with yourself. The enemy is also the victim. You're both the source of the problem and the only solution. Now, the good news is that 6 out of every 7 people who start a diet lose weight. The bad news is over 90% of them put it all back on within 3 years. Now, if you want to lose weight and keep it off, it can be confusing and frustrating, trying to make sense of all the information. But you can't wait for the professionals to figure this out for you. The clock is ticking. The sooner you get started, the better. But where do you begin? Now, back in 1998, I got tired of working for other people. So I bought a book about successful people. It was called Millionaire Next Door. I learned a lot from that book that also applies to dieting. You see, success leaves clues. Studying the methods and behaviors of millionaires helped me to become successful in business. Fortunately, there have been tens of thousands of successful dieters from whom we can also learn valuable lessons. One such resource is the National Weight Loss Control Registry. Now, this registry tracks the methods and behaviors of over 10,000 successful...
You know what's crazy is he memorized this entire thing before he went on his walk. How crazy is that? Like, to memorize a 10-minute presentation, that's a lot of work. Also, check out this vein in his head. How cool is that? I kind of want that. I wish I had a vein in my head, like full-time. Full-time vein putting in work. Excuse me. So, what was I going to say? I just got distracted by the vein. Oh, I know. I took a public speaking class in college when I was there. It was like, honestly, I got an A. I got 2 A's in my entire life in like any class I ever took. One was in that public speaking class, and the other one was social psychology. The only 2 classes I was like ever interested in school, like high school, like any my entire like education career. Anyway, what I noticed, or what they told us in that class, is that like you don't necessarily want to memorize everything word for word. You just want to know the subject that you're talking about so well that you can get up and speak confidently in front of people, and the words will just flow naturally, I guess. Anyway, I thought of that. I'm not like saying like, oh, he's a bad public speaker, what a peasant. No, whatever, like, who cares? This is like his style. I kind of, you know, it's good. Too much work for me. Another random story. I'm so sorry. This is nothing. Like, what was he even talking about? Fucking statistics. People fucking fail at dieting. Okay. When I was in junior high, our teacher made us memorize poems. Like, we'd have to memorize poems and get up in front of the class and recite the poem like multiple times. And the poems would get longer and longer. Like, I think the longest one we had to do was The Highwayman. You know, the highwayman came riding. So like fucking everybody in the class had to like get up and like memorize it. And you would think that that would be virtually impossible, because I'll show you how long The Highwayman is. This has nothing to do with Homie's video, but The Highwayman poem. Alfred Noyes. I don't remember any of this now, right? But like, I just want to show you how long this is, right? It's like, we had to memorize all this shit. How many fucking stanzas? Oh, actually, I guess it's not that long. But it's not just like, and then he went here and did that. It was like, back he spurred like a madman. It's like all this weird, like not weird, but like complex language, I guess. Anyway, I don't know. I just thought of that randomly, I guess. Yeah, people lose weight and then gain it back because they're fucking stupid and starve themselves and then binge on donuts. Like, shocking.
Successful dieters who have lost more than 10% of their body weight and kept it off for over a year. Now, what can we learn from them? Well, first and foremost, successful businesses and successful dieters start with a plan and stick to it. The majority of dieters use a diet plan. 98% of them modify their food intake, and 94% of them increase their physical activity. The math is pretty simple. Millionaires spend less than they earn. Successful dieters eat less than they burn. So what's the best diet? A meta-analysis of 11 popular name diets showed no significant difference in weight loss after 1 year. I'll attach a reference. So whether you choose paleo, keto, carnivore, or the vertical diet, it doesn't matter. So what does matter? Exercise? Maybe not. While 90% of successful dieters exercise 1 hour a day, studies show exercise only has a modest impact on weight loss when compared with a control group of dieters who don't exercise. I'll attach a reference. Now how about eating breakfast? 78% of successful dieters eat breakfast. But research suggests equivalent outcomes when you eat breakfast or not. I'll also attach a reference. Now how about the glycemic index? Nope. Studies show no difference in weight loss for low GI foods versus high GI foods. Meal frequency? Nope again. Eating 2 meals a day or 6 meals a day has the same outcome. At the end of the day, when all the arm waving and finger pointing subsides and the smoke clears, the number one predictor of success, drumroll please, is compliance. The most consistent dieters have the best outcomes. This was even true in the short term.
Compliance. I guess we could call that compliance, like complying with the rules of the diet. I was thinking about that as he was talking. I've said a few times, like, what's the best diet is one that you'll actually stick to and is also healthy. Like the K-pop diet, probably not a good idea, even if you stick to it. The skeleton diet that like all these girls seem to love, also probably not a good idea. But they do lose a lot of weight, I guess. I guess that is a successful diet, which is probably why these women do it. Anyway, yeah, like I think what he like alluded to this point in the beginning where he said something about having a plan. He's like, you got to have a plan, or successful dieters have a plan, or something like that. And I was thinking to myself, I was thinking of my own experience, and is it really that OMAD? And like, okay, what do I say? I say eat once a day, eat lots of meat, and those are like and don't eat shitty food. That's like my dietary recommendations, right? What's my actual plan? Like, what does that actually look like in literal terms, right? If we spell that out, basically that means don't eat anything during the day. Start my meal at like 6, start with lots of meat, and then, eat some carbs if I'm still hungry afterwards, and then finish the night with like a scoop of ice cream or 2 scoops of ice cream. I have 2 scoops, sometimes 3. 2 scoops of ice cream at the Swenson's down the street. That's like that's my plan, right? And I just stick to that plan. I wonder, do these people who fail at dieting, do they just not have a plan? Or is it just a stupid plan? Or did they not stick to their stupid plan? I think it's actually both. I think their plan is stupid, and not only is it stupid, but they're not sticking to it, which is, they shouldn't stick to it. It's retarded. I think you do need a little bit of direction. I think there are qualitative differences between these diets. Studies show that there's no, like, these people did worse or these people did better. I mean, I guess that's true, but I just think they're the type of people that would fail anything no matter what. I guess the question is, like, if you have somebody who's going to comply no matter what should they do, right? But that's, like, I read an interesting quote on 4chan the other day where it talks about, like, there's all these, like, troll threads. People, like, will post stuff that says, like, obesity is not your fault. Study proves obesity is caused by, like, studies prove that, like, it's impossible to lose weight, whatever. And then somebody commented in one of these threads, they were like, solving obesity is only half the problem. The other half is solving the mental illness that leads to obesity, or something like that. Very profound. Anyway, what else you got, homie?
When comparing 7-day-a-week dieters to those who had cheat days, there's a linear relationship for success for consistent dieters over 5-day-a-week dieters. In business, as in sport, I've often said that you can be great at anything, but you can't be great at everything. The best outcomes are achieved when you avoid distractions and stay focused on your goal. The majority of successful dieters tend to eat the same foods regularly. Go through the house and throw away all the diet distractions. The potential problem with cheat meals or increased meal variety is twofold. First, when you eat what you're hungry for, food reward tends to make us eat more of it. And second, we're terrible at estimating calories. Restaurant calorie counts are often off by up to 50%. And even food labels can vary by up to 20%. So what's the easiest way to comply with whatever diet you choose? Fortunately, this has been studied as well. A meta-analysis published in Obesity Reviews found the single most successful method for diet compliance was meal prep. Dieters who prepped their meals in advance or used a meal prep company were more likely to be successful than those who used a clinician or any other commercially available program, including wearables or other internet-based programs. Now, whether they prepared meals themselves or used Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, or even our vertical meals, having a refrigerator full of pre-portioned meals was the best predictor of success. Now, once you have a plan in place and a method to execute the plan, the last piece is measuring your progress.
Interesting. Very interesting. I hate meal prep. I hate it. I don't think I've ever done it. Maybe like back when I like first started going to university, like when I was like, I don't know, 20 or something, I had it in my head. I was like, I want to get as big as possible. Like that was my, like, I've never really like had that goal from working out. I just wanted to be like proportional and reasonably aesthetic without like putting in too much work. But I had it in my head like during this time, I was like, I want to get as big as possible. So I think I did meal prep like once. I was like, okay, I'm never doing this again. Never in my life. But I guess if you're like, let's say you're really fat and out of shape, okay? If it falls on you to not only like you have to prepare all this healthy food, how much work is that? That's so much work. You got to buy, you got to prepare it, you got to eat it. Like it's a pain in the ass. I always say that if you want people to do something, you have to make it easy for them. Like make it as easy as possible. I don't really like do this too much anymore. I probably should do more. But like when I used to sell like online marketing services, I would pretty much always structure my packages to be like, you don't do anything, you just pay me, I will do everything. Like you're totally hands off. And those generally sold better than like, oh, you need to learn this, you need to read this, you need to like help me with this or like contribute in this way. People don't want to do that. They literally just want to like hand it off to somebody or something else and have them do it. I think he has a meal prep company as well, which I'm sure he'll talk about that later. But okay, like this is very informative, interesting video, like great product placement. If just because meal prep is the greatest indicator or the strongest indicator of success does not mean that it is impossible to lose weight without meal prep. If that works for you, go for it. Go prep your meals. Shit. Not practical for me. I'm not going to prep a week's worth of meals. That is like one meal a day. That's just too much food. Plus I like to eat fresh food. That's just me though. I also don't need to lose fucking any weight, really. Maybe like a pound or two. But yeah, very interesting. What else you got? Oh, also one more thing that I wanted to say is like, what do you say? Millionaires spend less than they earn. I also spend less than I earn. I'm not a millionaire. When's that going to happen?
Successful entrepreneurs carefully track income and expenses. 85% of successful dieters weigh themselves regularly and watch their calories. Make a checklist and track your compliance. Track your weight, your measurements, your meals, your 10-minute walks, and your sleep. Now, I know that some people are born with money, and others have to work hard for it. The same is true with dieting. Don't get frustrated, and don't compare yourself to anyone else. What works for me doesn't work for everyone, and what works for most people may not work for you. There are no free rides, and there are no all-you-can-eat diets. A successful diet isn't something you go on and off. There is no finish line. The behaviors that make you successful need to become part of your lifestyle. My business mentor once told me, the more you have, the harder you work to keep it. With dieting, the more weight you lose, the harder it is to maintain it. And that's because the more money you make, the less you get to keep. We call that taxation. And the more weight you lose, the fewer calories your body burns. We call that metabolic adaptation. Now, it won't always be easy, and there will be plateaus along the way. But if you stick to your plan, you will be successful. Look, I sell a diet. I designed it to be simple, sensible, and sustainable. I also sell meals, and they're healthy and delicious. But there's no magic formula to achieve wealth, and there's no magic formula to lose weight. And I'll be the first to tell you that there are many paths to the same destination, and there are many great diet plans out there. Dr. Lane Norton has an excellent diet called Fat Loss Forever. Dr. Mike Israetel's Renaissance diet and Precision Nutrition's diet are also excellent. I've read them all. I think Mark Bell did a great thing recently. He encouraged people to try different diets for 30 days.
So much good information in here. What did he say? He's like entrepreneurs track their income and expenses. They're successful entrepreneurs. I'm thinking to myself like, oh, do I do that? No, I don't. But you know how it is. Like if your bank account doesn't look the way you want it to look, you don't want to check that shit. Like you avoid checking that shit. I like avoid checking mine. I don't want to see it. Like, only if I have to, I'll check it. Probably not a good idea. I should probably check it more and like track what I actually spend money on. It's probably a good idea. And then what else did he say about, I don't remember what he said. Something else I wanted to say. Fuck. What was it?
Formula to lose weight. And I'll be the first to tell you that there are many paths to the same destination.
whatever. Anyway, I don't remember. But basically, I don't know. Let's just finish this.
Diets for 30 days. He started with keto, then carnivore, then the vertical diet, so people can see which one they like best. Now, I believe all of this has helped us to finally answer the most important question, once and for all. What's the best diet? The one you'll follow. All diets work when they're strictly adhered to. So pick a path, get started, and always remember, compliance is the science.
I remember what I was going to say. So he says, the more you have, the harder you work to keep it. That's true. I remember when I was earlier in this year, I was in Vietnam. I was in a place called Nha Trang, and like they had an amazing gym. It was like one of the most fun gyms that I've ever worked out in my life. Not because of the people. People were fucking whatever, normal people. Lots of hot girls there. Somehow, I don't even know how. But anyway, I was running. I was doing basically two workouts a day. I was running for like an hour on the beach, and then I would go and I would train in the gym for an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, just because it was so fun. I didn't want to leave. And I got in very good shape, obviously. Plus the fact that like you're allowed to work out there without a shirt on was like perfect for me. I could like like admire myself in the mirror the entire time. But I remember I was exhausted most of the day. I was tired. I was like, because it took a lot for me to recover. I was just gassed pretty much the entire day because I was training so hard. And I was like, man, this is great to be this ripped and this lean. Like I enjoy my like 2 hour workouts where I'm like looking at myself in the mirror. But how is this sustainable? How can I do this long term? It's like my life is just gonna be working out. As far as he says about like the entrepreneur stuff, I don't know, I can't really relate to that. But
well, that's about the end of my walk and my 10 talk. Be sure to check out stanefferding.com or theverticaldiet.com to download a digital copy of my vertical diet or to order vertical meals delivered to your door in the 48 states. Thanks for keeping me company.
I guess he accidentally didn't turn it off. All right. Yeah, interesting. I don't know. I thought that was very good. Basically, what are the main points here? Like the best diet is the one that you'll do consistently. And what did he say? Like there's no. He said something. I thought of OMAD, where he was like, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, I like OMAD. Like, why do I do OMAD? Because it's easy for me to be consistent. It's so easy. I don't have to think about anything. I don't have to count calories. I don't have to count macros. I eat once a day and I eat mainly meat, and that's it. That's all I have to do. You know, that's why I recommend it to people. Like, there's no, what question could you possibly have about that? Like, eat once a day, eat mostly meat. Like, what? How is that not clear? Like, how can it get more clear? I guess is what I'm saying. Anyway, the vertical diet, interesting. I like this guy. He's got good info. If you guys have any other recommendations for videos or YouTubers you want me to take a look at, let me know. Peace.